What's up, guys? Welcome back to another live stream. Today, I've got another good one in store for you, and I'm going to cover probably the most common question that we get, and that is, what does it look like to work with you? Now, I'm going to give you a bit of a look under the hood so you have a really good idea of what a working relationship with us would actually look like. What do we do? How do we do it? And what are our priorities for our clients when they come to us and when they need our help? So, what's really important to know is our program focuses on three main pillars. Okay, so there's three main pillars that we want to focus on. Now, when it comes to working with gym owners specifically, there's a lot of different things that we can cover. There are a lot of nuances, like any business, really. There are a lot of nuances to what we can do inside the business to help things become more efficient, help things become more profitable, and really just help businesses turn around and be on that trajectory to the success that us as founders really set out in the beginning. Now, I think commonly within our industry, us as gym owners, we didn't really have a good understanding of how much work it was really going to take to create a successful business, and a successful business by the standards in which we want to be successful. So, most smaller boutique gyms they're surviving, and I would bet a good sum of money that that's not what you intended when you decided to make that leap into gym ownership. It's long hours. It's a lot of work, both physical work when you are actually doing training or training clients or training classes or whatever that may be. And it's also a lot of back end work on the business itself. And those are probably things that you really just had no anticipation of at all, and no real sense of what was coming. So again, there's three main pillars that we want to focus on with our clients. And in our program, those three main pillars are: number one, getting you leads; number two, helping you nurture those leads; and then last but not least, just making more sales. So now those are the three key pillars that we need to focus on. So we need to get you more leads. We need to help you nurture those leads, help you take those, essentially bridge the gap from those leads just being prospects and turning them into clients. Then, of course, making more sales, which is basically the tail end of that. So you have those three checkpoints. They're three pillars, really, but they almost operate as three checkpoints. They're getting people who you have no idea who they are, potentially, and likely, to be honest, getting them to have some level of interest. Now, what you need to do is bridge that gap by nurturing. And then at the end of that, you need to find ways or systems to sell them and to turn them into your clients, and not just turn them into your clients, but turn them into long lasting clients that stick with you. So before we actually work with our clients on those three pillars, what we really focus on doing, because we know that the majority of our clients who come to us are in a place where they are struggling financially. And that can be anywhere from literally not being able to make rent or pay your expenses this month, all the way through to not being able to make enough money in the business to pay yourself what you want to be making. And when I say what you want to be making, of course, everybody could throw out a ginormous number, and a massive number that doesn't necessarily need to be that high, but it's more about the amount that you need to be making for yourself personally. Because again, if your business is surviving, you're paying all of your expenses, your coaches are getting paid. Of course, those are all great things. But typically, what happens is that once there is $0 left over, you haven't paid yourself anything. And that is definitely not why you started this business. You didn't get into gym ownership to just do it for the love of it. That's a huge piece, of course, but there is so much money out there for you to make, and we need to show you how to do that. So again, we want to take you to a place where you're profitable, where you are actually taking home a significant salary. We want you to be taking a six-figure salary every year. There's no reason why you shouldn't. So before we work with our clients and get them to dive into those three pillars, and before we help them with those three pillars, we want to get money in your pocket immediately. So I'll say it again. When you start working with us, the first thing that we want to do is get money into your pocket because it's more important than anything else. It'll give you a bit of breathing room. It'll give you that sense of, okay, there's money coming in. I don't need to panic for the next X amount of time. And that's going to depend on the size of your gym, the level of your expenses, the height of your expenses, if you will. So that's all going to depend in terms of how long that money is going to last you. But again, it's important for that money to flow in immediately. So think about it like this. Let's reframe the way that we look at the importance of getting you money immediately when you start working with us. Let's say you had a client sign up with you. They walk into your gym and they're like, "Yes, I'm all in. Sign me up, and I want to lose 25 pounds." And now let's put health implications aside for this example because we're using a bit of an extreme case, but we're just gonna we're gonna use this example to translate what I'm talking about with how this would work in the fitness industry. Okay, bear with me. So somebody walks in, they're all in, they're ready to pay you, they're gonna pay you, no issue there. And they want to lose 25 pounds. Or better yet, let's make it 50. They want to lose 50 pounds. And you help them do it within 5 to 7 days. 5 to 7 days, boom, gone. The weight. They've been struggling for years and now it's gone. Think about how much they would love you. Think about how much they would trust you. Think about how much they would know deep in their core. They would know that they made the right decision to sign up with you because that problem, the issues, everything they were struggling with for potentially years has now been solved in 5 to 7 days. Now, I'm not saying we're going to solve every single one of your problems within 5 to 7 days, but even in my example of 50 pounds, let's say you took off half. Let's say somebody wanted to lose 50 pounds. They needed to lose 50 pounds. And in the first week, you help them take off half. Same thing. They would love you. They would know that this is the place I need to be. These are the people I need to work with. And on top of that, you are taking a huge leap in solving their problem once and for all. So it's exactly what we want to do with you. We want to help our clients. Of course, we're not solving all of their problems overnight. That's not possible. And of course, there are long term things that need to be done to transform their business. But if we can get a cash infusion right away, then that's a huge, huge win. And we know that money's tight. For gym owners, money is tight, especially the ones that are struggling the most. So you've entrusted us with our business. Sorry, let me say that again. You've entrusted us with your business. So you're spending your hard earned money that's already really tight. And I know that you're gripping onto that money as hard as you can. And I appreciate you. And I appreciate all of our clients that are willing to spend that money with us. So it's my job, it's our job to get money back into your pocket immediately. And our objective is that you're going to get back every dollar you've paid and then some, multiples of it immediately and overnight. And at that point, the program will have already paid itself. And you will know that what we're doing works. So that's the very, very first thing that we do with all of our clients. When we work together, we want you to have that win. We want you to have that big win where there's money coming back into your bank account and you know that what we're doing is working. The last thing that we want to do is have you work with us and it take weeks and weeks and months for you to see the return on what you're actually investing in because you're investing in yourself, you're investing in your business. And there's nothing more important than that, at least right now. So we want you to get a return on that investment. We want you to see that you've made the right decision. So by entrusting in us, we're going to make sure that money is flowing back into your pocket immediately. Okay. So the best part there is that that's all done without spending any money on ads. So there's no money spent on ads. We run that exclusively to your members. So what that's going to do is it's going to give you back money in your pocket within the first week of starting with us. So there's a few things now looking forward into talking a bit more about the pillars and about our business and the way that we work with our clients, there's a few things that we want our clients to know from the beginning. And three main ones, just like our pillars. And they each of these things is centered around the pillars. They're just it's very important for us to know exactly what I'm about to explain. As gym owners, we need to recognize that we will always, day one to the day before we close our gym permanently, hopefully for good reasons because we've sold it for lots of money, but there will always we will always have a need, and we will always need to have reliable we'll need to have a reliable, at least one reliable and consistent source of leads. Always. Okay, number 2 is we will always need to find a way to nurture those leads and do it at scale. I've said this to you guys in the past. The level of lead nurture that you can do with one person is going to be very different than the level of lead nurture you can do with 100 people or 400 people. So, how do you bridge that gap? How do you find a way to offer that exact same service, that exact same level of care and nurture for the one as the 100? So, that's number 2. We need to have a way to nurture those leads at scale. And last is we need to have a system and the skills to sell effectively. Okay. If you have a system in place, then the building blocks and the foundation are there. You're doing the right things. Then you need to have the skills to sell effectively. If you can sell effectively, you will be able to save your business. Hands down, no question about it. And selling comes in a lot of different forms, a lot of different methods. And at the end of the day, you need to care more about your prospects than they care about themselves. If you do, you will win. You will win big because you genuinely care about making a difference in people's lives and helping them. And that's going to make all of the difference in the world. And then, of course, when you stack skills on top of that, you will be unstoppable. You will see the results that you are able to get on the sales side, of course, but therefore, that translates into the results that people will get because you directly are going to be able to help them. So, again, the three things that we need as gym owners to really understand and start our working relationship together, understanding and knowing full well is that you need to have a reliable and consistent source of leads. Oh, look at that. Thumbs up on the video. Perfect. You need to have a way to nurture those leads and do it at scale. And last but not least, you need to have a system and the skills to sell effectively. Okay. So if you have those three things, again, which are pretty much the three pillars of our system, of our program, like we talked about, you have the recipe for success. Okay. I want to dive a little bit deeper into each of those pillars and what those look like. So now that you're in the program, you're going to have access to an amazing portal full of videos that are going to show you exactly what you need to do. You're going to be working with a coach one on one who's going to be helping you learn, helping really just monitor your business and make sure that all of the things that you need to do based on where you're currently struggling the most are getting done, getting fixed, improving, and getting you to the targets in which you need and which you actually want. Okay, so the first one is leads. So leads are really that fuel. They're really the food, right? They're the food that your business needs to grow. So without leads, you're not going to be able to grow. You're not going to have enough of an inflow of new potential members to keep you alive. Now, that's not to say that you won't get to a point where you don't need them anymore to the same degree, but churn, or again, attrition, the percentage of people that we lose every month on a longer time horizon will never be zero. And if that number is never going to be zero, that means that we can't ever stop selling because we will always need new people in to take the place of the people who are leaving. Now, don't get me wrong. We want to get that churn as low as we possibly can. Industry average is about 12 to 15%, which is incredibly high. In my gyms, we're seeing churn of between 3 and 5% on a monthly basis. So, what that means is in my gyms, I'm only losing about 3 to 5% of my members every single month. Whereas standard industry average is between 10 to 15%, which is huge. That's a lot of members to lose every single month. That means, let's just say it's 10. Within a year, if you're not selling anybody, your gym would be empty. So we need to continually have leads coming in. So what happens and what we do with our clients is we get you leads. We build out the system and we start the leads coming in. Now, the the most reliable way to get leads is through paid advertising. And I know a lot of people have tried paid advertising and it didn't work for them, right? It didn't work. Just because you tried it and it didn't work doesn't mean that it's not going to work when you have the method and you have the actual proper execution to do it, which is exactly what we have. On any given month, my gym gets between 500 to 600 new leads every single month, which is a lot. And if you have 500 to 600 leads every single month, how much new revenue do you think you would do? Probably quite a bit. So what we do is we build out the campaigns, we build everything out for you so that the leads keep coming in and they're going to come in every single day and your calendar is going to get booked full of people who are ready to talk to you and ready to get started. So we're basically step 1, we're building the machine. Okay, we build the machine so that leads can start coming in, and once leads start flowing into your business, we now have a pool of people, interested buyers who are ready to spend their money with you and change their lives with you. So that's pillar number 1, leads. Pillar number 2 is nurture. So now that we're getting leads, we have to make sure that they don't just disappear, right? Because if leads come in and nobody contacts them, they're gone. Now, there may be an incredibly small percentage of people who will be so eager that they'll continue following up. They'll keep calling, they'll walk in, and that's great. Those people are amazing. But if we relied solely on them, we would have gone out of business a long time ago. We can't rely on them. And that's why we have to be proactive. And we have to be proactive through all of our lead nurture methods, because that is what's going to take that incredibly small percentage of people who would sign up, right? Those are those like incredibly eager 0.5 to 1 percenters. And we are going to start using our lead nurture techniques to now expand the number of people that we actually keep interested. A way that I like to always think about this that was said to me a couple years ago, which I really loved, was think about, if you're single, think about when you were dating, when you were on the dating scene. When you asked somebody out on a date, did you ask them and then never speak to them until the day and time that you met and just hope that they showed up and arrived? Probably not. I would imagine not. And what you actually did was that you kept in touch with them every day, a little check in. Maybe this conversation continued organically, but all of that, all of those steps, all those touch points increase the likelihood or ensured even that that person was going to show up to your date. This is no different. This is exactly the same thing. We want to make sure that we have lots of touch points with our prospects so that they actually come in. They actually pick up the phone when we call them. They actually turn into members because we're building rapport. We're building that trust. We are creating that relationship. And if we don't do that, then any money that we spend on getting the lead will all just be wasted and all for nothing. And again, you won't be setting yourself up for success. You'll be doing the opposite. Okay. Now, another really common question we get is that is lead nurture automated? Is it with the rise of AI technology, is lead nurture entirely handled by artificial intelligence? And the answer is no. The answer could be yes. It absolutely could. AI is incredibly powerful already, and it's just going to continue to evolve. And my answer may change in the future, but for right now, no. And the reason is we still find from all of our testing and all of our experimentation, having real one-to-one contact makes a difference. And AI is good, but it's not quite there just yet. So what we do is we use automation to start conversations, and then it's your responsibility to continue those conversations, because there's a lot of nuanced questions that get asked by prospects. There's a lot of very specific detailed things that you may want to handle in a certain way, and without training AI bots to know the ins and outs and all of the details that you know of your business, which again is possible, we find it's a lot more effective and we have much better results when automations start the conversation, and when people respond, you pick up from there and then you continue and complete or finalize the conversation if it gets to that point. So that's a really huge piece. And again, now talking about lead nurture at scale, this is exactly how we do it. So because we are leveraging automations to start conversations, we're able to now nurture our leads at a much larger scale than we would have if we were doing it ourselves. Think about it. You're teaching a class and you have 5 new leads come in. And then after your class, you have a personal training client. Then you have to have lunch. And then somebody at the gym starts asking you questions. Now all of a sudden it's been 4 hours, and those leads that came in have gone uncontacted for 4 hours. Through automation, we can actually have them be continuously contacted as you're doing the things in your day that you need to do. Now, again, it's just starting that conversation, and then you will pick that up when you're available, which again, as we know, the sooner the better. So, pillar number 3, the last one I want to chat about, which is again, we've gone through 2 of the 3 pillars that we have. Pillar number 1 is our leads, pillar number 2 is our lead nurture, and last but not least is sales. So, there's two there's two main avenues on the sales side that are going to be important for you to know. The first one is what to sell. So we're going to teach you everything about what you should be selling, how you should be selling it, and obviously the the structures, the billing cadences, communication meeting cadences, all of the detailed nuances around what your offer should be and what you should be selling. We will be going over that in full detail. So that's step 1. Step 2 is how you sell and the skill acquisition that you need to be an effective salesperson. Now, I find a very common trait that we as gym owners have is that we think we're good at selling, but in reality, we're not. And again, same thing. There may be a couple slight percent of you that actually are and just have some natural gift of the gab. But I've even seen gym owners that are incredible talkers and very good conversationally still not be the best salespeople, because there's a very effective way to sell, and we'll teach you the step by steps, and we'll give you all of the scripts and everything that you need to know about how to most effectively sell and to really learn the skills. What I don't want is for you to, of course, we're going to give you the script, but if you're just sitting there reading off of a piece of paper, you haven't really acquired the skills that you need. You've just now become good at regurgitating what you're reading. And that's okay. That's part of the process. But we're going to get you to a point where you're going to be so tuned in with the conversation and what's being said and the responses that the prospect is giving you and how you are then responding to them, that that's when your sales skills have really become honed in, and you will be incredibly effective at what you do. So again, all of this comes back to not relying on those most eager 1% prospects who are, for whatever reason, or reasons just ready to go. We need to take the power back and we need to do everything within our own capabilities to ensure our business is successful. And that's by getting leads ourselves, by nurturing those leads to make sure that we can have a conversation with them and make sure that we can get them enrolled in our programs. And then, of course, on the sales side, we need to be able to communicate to them in an effective way to make them realize and understand that the journey they're about to embark on to change their lives is one of the most important things that they're going to do. Taking care of yourself physically, taking care of your body, and not just doing it for yourself, but doing it for those around you, your loved ones, your kids, setting that example for the future generations, and even just inspiring the people around them. It's much more impactful and it's a bigger deal than people realize. So, through the sales techniques that we'll teach you, you'll have a really strong and thorough understanding of how to communicate effectively. And the nice thing is that the skills you will learn here will translate to so many other areas of your life, not just when you're sitting in that sales meeting. There will be other times where it'll make you a better listener. It'll make you a better conversationalist. You'll ask more thought-provoking questions. You'll be so much more aware of the situations and the the detailed nuances and really what's going on in the life of the person that you're having that conversation with. So there are a lot of applicable and transferable skills that you're going to learn here. So just to come full circle, our objective and our goal is really to take you from a place where you've been struggling for years or months, depending on how long your business has been around, and help you grow and really turn the business into what you thought it was going to be when you started it. So that's our main priority. And as soon as we get you started by getting cash back in to your business, we can then start to unpack the layers and really look at getting you leads, nurturing those leads, and then teaching you all the sales skills. So that's what it's like. There's a lot more detail and there's a lot more nuances depending on where you specifically are at, but those are the main key takeaways. Okay, you need to have that consistent inflow of leads. Okay, you need to have a way to nurture them, and then last but not least, you have to have the system and the skills to sell them effectively. Okay, when you have all three of those, which is exactly what we teach you, you're going to have the recipe for success. All right. Have an amazing rest of your week, guys. Keep crushing it. Keep changing people's lives a day at a time. And I will see you in the next one.